Today we're going to be headed to one of our favorite local creeks. This particular creek runs right through the middle of a ghost town. This ghost town was abandoned after the coal seam dried up, and we find all kinds of amazing treasures right here in the water. Let's go see what we can come up with right now. See how beautiful that would have been right there. That would have been gorgeous. Got some green mixed in with the blue. That's pretty thick to make jewelry out of, like my wife likes to normally, but I think I'm going to keep it anyways, just because of that green being in it. Look right there, guys. Looks like a really pretty marble. Oh yeah, that one's gorgeous. Yeah, I got Dad with me today. We're out together. Got a whiskey bottom. So best find so far is right here. That is a beauty right there too. So this may be the best treasure that I've ever found on the river. We'll see if I rub it and I get 3 wishes. Genie's lamp. That's got to be from an Aladdin kids set, but still pretty hilarious to find one in the creek. And let's just give it a rub and see what happens.
Why? 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Poof, nothing. But if I was going to have 3 wishes today, while I'm in this water, it would probably be to find a Coke Hutch, an arrowhead, and a stenciled jug. So let's see if that makes it happen. Looks like we got a good whiskey glass candidate right here. You can't see the name of the bottler, but it does say Brookside, Alabama on the bottom. This would have been a Coca-Cola circa 1916 soda. So it's cool. A lot of people will buy these just because it has their town name on it. So this one's coming out with us. Right here, guys, this one's blended in good. Oh, it's just the side. But it would have been a very nice Circle Slug, Pioneer Bottling Works. Another early soda. This is probably like 1912. That's all right. We're in the right area. Never a complete hunt without at least one of these guys. Golf ball. Just a Pinnacle 2. It's not a good one. Hey, you never know. Some of these golfers use really expensive balls. Not this guy, though. He must be as bad at it as I am. Dad may have him a good whiskey glass down here. It's in there pretty good, isn't it? Look, Wood's got it. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one, Dad. It was a Coca-Cola. Yeah. It went down to there, but we're going to be able to cut it.
Thank you. I'll make something.
Yep, we can make a whiskey glass out of that one. That's all right. That's 2 whiskey glasses here. That's not a bottle, but it sure looks like one.
I thought it was when I seen the slick part.
That beaver's been chewing all over that, guys.
Yeah. Both ends.
You gotta watch out, make sure we don't get bit on the butt by it.
See his teeth washed off.
Those are kind of fun to keep sometimes.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That'd be
cool.
good in your garden or in your flower bed.
I wonder if it'd sink, or does it float? If it sink, it'd be cool in an aquarium.
I think it's too wet. Yeah.
That'd be perfect for an aquarium then. That's all right. Let's get back on the trail and see what we can find. Got another bottle right here, guys. Haven't been able to tell if it's old or whole. Hey, it is whole. Got a soda water. It's from Texas. Yeah. Seguin, Texas. Look at that. That's cool. It's got the nice embossed stars around it. This is going to be circa 20s, and you can tell right here, patent date, November 27th, 1923. So this is going to be after that. I'm going to try to turn a little bit to block the wind. But there's a bottle, guys. Nice century-old soda for us. And I'm excited to have that. You see it, Dad? It says Seguin, Texas on it.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice one.
Can't beat that.
I like it because it's the one with the indentions.
Yeah, the square. A lot of people find only the square base, and I'll get messages. Hey, I found a square base to a bottle. 9 times out of 10, it's a soda water.
And I always like the stars on the top.
I do too, and I'm shocked. This one doesn't have any damage and not much rash. So you see the trees right here? That's probably where this bottle came from, is out of a bank. When the tree fell, changed the current, which made this wash fresh out of the side. So heck yeah, we're on them. Let's keep going. Looks like a lantern piece. I'm not for sure. Our globe to one. regardless, Miranda will make some earrings out of that. She loves this stuff that has the raised dots and stuff on it. Looks really cool whenever we tumble it up and nip it into the shape that she likes. We've officially woke up the neighborhood dogs in case you guys hear barking in the background. Meanwhile, I just picked this bottle up. This says Inslee, Alabama, and this would have been a Big Five Deco style soda from the 20s. So we're at least in a 1920s section of the creek right now. You see the water's absolutely gorgeous today. Not a cloud in the sky. And there's nothing I'd rather be doing than this right now. So maybe there's a couple more good bottles out here. Just picked up this glass right here. This will be good jewelry. And also, I think this is the kind that really shows up really well under a black light, which would be neat if you're into raves and antique glass. Only kidding. But no, in all seriousness, I'll have to double check, but I think it is, and it's got some cool designs on it. The size of this crawfish claw, guys. He's a big one. I think you could probably ate that guy. Looks like somebody already made a meal out of him though. Looks like we got a little vanilla extract bottle. This one's not as old. This is a screw top. Probably circa 1940s. Looks like it says patent applied for on the bottom, so no patent date on that one. That's all right. We'll get it out of the creek, doesn't belong here. That is the neck to a hutch. So the Hutchinson bottles were from the 1870s up to about 1912. So we are getting older, and it's just the, what some may refer to as the blob, but the rounded part of the top. So we know we're in the right area now for the good old stuff.
There's a track here.
Oh yeah, what is that? I bet that was an otter track. I've seen a couple otters in here. Huh. I'd like to catch him on camera for you guys. So thickness of glass isn't always a determining factor when it comes to age. It is a rough estimate a lot of times because usually the thicker the older. But there are bathroom tiles and different things like that that are super thick that are made from glass as well. So what I do is I'll usually pick up a thick piece of glass and then I'll search for air bubbles. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a couple of air bubbles in there. And that's another thing that can just check a box to the age of the glass that you're picking up if it's not complete, where you can get an ID off of it. So we're still in a good area. We're still picking up tons of glass, nothing whole yet, other than the one soda and a couple of odds and ends that were newer. But we got our hopes up. Let's keep going. Let's see if Dad still got the eyes. Yep, he spotted it. There's a marble right here.
Got purple and white.
It is really pretty.
Yeah, it is.
I think
That's a nice color.
that is a beautiful color. Looks to be about the same age as the one we found just a little bit earlier. We are in,
That might be older.
think that one's older.
Thank you.
He knows more than I do. I don't know a ton about marbles. You guys let us know, is he right? In the comments below. And another marble. I'm not, what, 10 steps from where I picked up the purple one? Maybe a little bit further. And this one's just sticking out. It's really pretty blue. A lot of people want to know why so many marbles are in the creeks. Keep in mind, this was probably the biggest seller for toys at the turn of the century and after it for quite a while. Not to mention, little boys and girls like to shoot these things with their slingshots. So imagine all the bottles down here and how many are broken from the kids with their slingshots. So I've been back on the search looking for embossed and debossed bricks. A lot of people collect these things. Some of them are high dollar. I did kick this one out with my foot. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it says CO Crown on it. And around here, these were used to build coke ovens, and coke ovens were a major part of the steel industry here in the Birmingham area. Look at that. Is that, surely that's not a bunch of little bitty leeches. I'm gonna set this on the bank and then grab it on the way back. And maybe that'll give time for whatever those critters are to clear off of it. Check that out, I just picked up, it's got like a duck on it. I don't know what that was. Think that's old, Dad?
Yeah.
I can't tell.
Yeah, it's old. I don't know how old. But you can tell by the inside, even though the creek's colored it.
Look at that thing
Yeah.
crawling on it. What is that? Might be dragonfly larva on that one.
I don't know.
As cold as it is, there's a lot of critters on everything I've been picking up, I can tell you that much.
I think the first frog down at the lake.
Y'all let us know if you recognize that pattern, how old it is in the comments below. Another really nice old top. If I can find these things that are over 5 inches, I do save them, and eventually I'm going to try to make some guitar slides out of them. I've had a lot of musicians tell me, hey, I'd love to have a glass slide from some old bottlenecks. So we do have a bucket full. We've got to work on them. Haven't had time yet. When I get time, they'll be on the eBay store, I promise. Take a look at this, guys, right here. Looks like it would have ended in end. And one of the most common jugs found in Birmingham is a Doster Northington jug. which would have been a drugstore and would have held whiskey. I think this was a Doster Northington Drug Company jug. It would have been a 1 gallon variant, I do believe. Wish that would have been whole. We met a buddy on the creek, just found a piece to a churn. And if you look right down here, there's part of a Vicks Vapor Rub. There you go, right there. Little Vicks. So the good stuff right here. So that's pretty cool, guys. We'll take it. Everybody loves cobalt. I know it's common, but people set these things on their shelves or in their windows just because of the color. So we get a lot of questions every week about how we get entrance into the creeks and whether it's a public right-of-way and all that kind of stuff. Right now, I'm actually swapping spots and heading down to another section of the creek. We're in a park right now. Up on the hill, right up there used to be a school. There is a graveyard, and I found several Hutchinson-style bottles right here in this stretch of creek. So here in Alabama, if the waterways are navigable, or if you can float a kayak or a canoe down it, it is considered a public right-of-way. However, even in the skinny creeks or the smaller creeks, I've never had any problems because I am picking up litter and trash along the way, and I've never had anybody get mad about that. So there again, I don't know the laws in every state, but here in Alabama, if you can float your kayak down it, it's fair game. Just be smart about where you enter the creek. So for us, it's always parks or bridges, and that's the easiest way in. Right here, though, is a very large embankment down to the river. So I'm gonna turn the camera off and shimmy my way down and see what we can find. So my dad's not with me. He had to leave, but if you take a look right down here, I've got the first find on the creek's edge. It's like an old wagon wheel figurine of some sort. And that means there's gonna be a ton of glass here. You can tell if you look how high the waters were during the last storm here. And all this bank right here has been washed heavily. So maybe there's a good bottle waiting on us right here, guys, or some awesome river treasure. Let's find out. Looks like we've got our first cream jar in this stretch of the creek. Let's see if it's whole. The water is extra cold, and it looks like this one is broken. Yep, sure is. A lot of times these held creams and stuff like that for makeup, and this one does have, it says US patent number on it, but it doesn't have the patent date. That's okay though. I know this spot right here does date back to the late 1800s, early 1900s, so I'm not really looking for clues as much as I am whole stuff today. Looks like there's another nice cork top net right here. Probably went to some kind of quack cure medicine. Still a good clue to the age of the stuff here. And the sun is now in our favor. Look how bright it is across the water. This is prime. When the sun is overhead, it helps out drastically with being able to peer through the water. Between that and polarized glasses, that is the trick. So many, many years ago, right there along that bank is where I found my very first Hutchinson bottle in the water. I see a hutch. Do y'all see it? What do y'all think it is? Oh, come on, be something good. Holy crap, it's a freaking elephant steam. Oh my God, that's freaking awesome. My first creek hutch that is whole. Man, y'all do not know how excited I am about this. Wow. Wow. That's a $125 bottle right there, guys. And it doesn't look like it's been rashed around. That is amazing. Man, I can't believe that. It must have, it's right here in this creek bend. Man, that made it worth my trip. That is so freaking cool. Man, that is awesome. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to be walking this creek about every, I don't know, every 2 weeks at least this summer. That just, I've never dug an elephant, but here it is in the creek. And ever since then, I walk really slow by here. It's crazy to talk about hutches, and then there's part of one right there. It's just the shoulder and the neck, it appears. And it's going to be a pain in the you-know-what to get up with this. I really need to weld like some screens between the forks so I can pick up the smaller parts. But there you go. You can see that was the hutch top and the shoulder to it. So we definitely know we're in the right area. So I'm not positive about this piece I just picked up, but it's got a little bit of a curve to it. I believe this is a stem to a circa late 1800s pipe. And we found quite a few pipe bowls in here. You can tell where it's broke right there. The bowl would have been on this end, I think. And then on this end, it would have had a longer stem. I could be wrong though. It could just be an insulator piece or something like that for more modern electrical, but by the shape of it and it not being flat and having that little bit of a curve, I'm pretty sure that I'm right. Getting my workout in today, guys. This current is swift. Look how fast those bubbles are going by. May not seem like much, but when you're about a little bit over knee deep, get a serious workout. And you always want to walk upstream so the cloud of silt goes behind you if you can. Sometimes you can't help that, depending upon where you got to park. But today, I know by the end of the day, I'm going to be very tired after walking against this all day. I know this doesn't mean a lot to a ton of you folks, but ginseng cordial is a crazy rare bottle from Birmingham and definitely on the top of my bucket list. Just so happens I just found probably the biggest piece of one that I ever have. Every piece I've ever found has come out of this creek, and the glass is so much thinner on these medicines that I guess they just didn't survive, and it really hurts my feelings, guys. But we can still see that it says ginseng cordial. Call me crazy, this is going home and it's going in my display case. So as we're walking down the bank a little bit to get to the next spot to get into the water, you may think that I'm crazy for keeping this like I said, but I always consider them placeholders until I can find a whole one. It seems like if I keep a piece of one, eventually I'll find a whole one. So maybe that'll happen with this guy. There, guys, we got a couple of things right here. First up, looks like there's a couple of broken pieces of glass. We'll get out of here. That would have been a hobble skirt Coke, just a Pat D. And here's a fishing rail. So I think we're now ready to go fishing, even though it's missing the handle. Regardless, this doesn't belong in here. I do see right here as well what appears to be some kind of little piece of a, oh yeah, that was like a canister. It would have had a wire that went over the top of it to hold the lid. Here is the bottom to a whiskey jug. And probably the creepiest find of the day is going to be this, either a mannequin or a doll leg. Or it may actually be a prosthetic leg. I don't know. It's pretty thick. And the way that it's got the point, I don't know. You guys let me know. Is this a doll leg or a small prosthetic leg for a child? Regardless, either way, it's a little bit spooky being in the water. I always like looking at the roots of these trees that are right along the creek bank. They kind of act like natural catch points where they touch the water down here. And they do catch bottles. But one day, this guy will fall into the water. Whenever it does, it'll change the current altogether. Maybe a year from now, it may be 50 years from now. But when it does, it'll create a natural dam. And that's what I always look for, is the trees that fall into the water to disturb the bottom of the river to make new stuff wash out. So this railway that's up above me right here has been here for well over a century. And it serviced the coal mines that were here. So you can only imagine, like I can, the steam trains hauling out tons and tons of coal from the coal miners that lived around here. So the majority of this trash in this river that's over a century old all came from the coal miners or their families. We don't know exactly who owned it, but at least we have a little bit of the history to tell a complete story of the stuff that we find, which is always really cool to me. All right, guys, we're back home. We are tumbling some bottles. This tube right here, believe it or not, has 40 pounds of copper shavings in it, just to be able to tumble a Hainer, which is a pretty common whiskey. That's okay though. It's gonna look awesome whenever it comes out. Let me show you what I just got out of the tumbler. Don't mind the shop, it's a wreck right now. I haven't had time to clean it. Did just get this awesome Dr. Pepper glass out. This is an embossed Dr. Pepper. It does have an issue right here, as well as on the hill. This is from Birmingham, but these are very rare. These are some of the earlier Dr. Pepper bottles from Birmingham, because the embossing right here sticks out. A lot of times they're debossed, and you can always tell these older ones because they'll say the name of the town right there on the very bottom. That one turned out really good. Also got this nice Hooper and Worcester out that we dug recently with a broken top. This one turned out just wonderful, guys. No issues with it at all. Still a little bit wet. And we did get a straight side Coke out, and we got a nice Viva that looks spectacular. For those of you that are curious, yes, we do have an update on Pepsi. So the update about Pepsi is she had her first vet visit, and I'm just noticing looking at the camera that I've got black stuff all over me. That's just from cleaning bottles. You don't pay any mind to that. Pepsi weighs 8 pounds. She is apparently a Maltipoo. I have no idea what that is. That's what the vet said though. And she is about 1.5 years old. She's in good shape. They checked her stool and all that kind of stuff. Everything looks great. So she has been shaved and kind of looks like a rat now, but she is in a safe, warm home at night. the next few days we're going to be out of town, and she's going to be at the doggy grandparents' house. So she's going to be staying with my parents for the next few days. And I hope that she does okay over there because they've got a couple of cats. We'll see how that goes. Regardless, thank all of you guys that supported her in the last video, and we appreciate all the help with her vet bills because they were pretty pricey, just to be honest. But I feel a whole lot better knowing that I didn't leave that pup out there in that graveyard just to continue suffering through the weather, because it's supposed to be really frigid next week. Regardless, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I know we didn't find an absolute ton. We did get that awesome soda water, though, and we're going to be tumbling that in probably one of the next videos. We'll see you guys in the next adventure.